Okay, all set. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order, the Arts, Culture, and Heritage Committee. And I'll start off with the land acknowledgement and do that as follows. We would like to begin to respectfully acknowledging that the town of Shelburne resides within the traditional territory and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, including the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, Chippewa, and the people of Anishinaabe. Oh, sorry, people of the Three Fires Confederacy. These traditional territories upon which we live, work, and play, sorry, that was my cat that just took off, and learn and seed and rich Indigenous history and traditions. It is with this statement that we declare to honor and respect the past and present connection of Indigenous peoples with this land, its waterways, and resources. So we'll move on to the adoption of the agenda. Has everybody had a chance to read the agenda? Anybody have any changes, additions you want to make at all? No? Okay. So can I get a mover and a seconder for adoption of the agenda?
Move to accept.
Okay, and a seconder?
I'll second it.
Lindsay, okay. All in favor? Carried. And item 3, declaration of pecuniary interest. Anybody have any pecuniary interests in any of the items in the meeting? No? Okay. And so we'll start with the adoption of the minutes of the last meeting of March 5th. And if everybody's had a chance to look through that, is there anything in there that needs to be changed, or is it pretty much what we discussed at that time? If not, any changes, then can I have someone move for adoption? That's Kyle. Seconded by Deb. Okay, all in favor? And that's carried. And so moving on to general information. Item 5.1, movies at Grace Tippling Hall. We were talking about cost for the screenings, the licensing option, and so on. Is there any more information that we have on that? Yep.
Yes, I have an update from Jessica on that. The cost for each individual screening of the movie would be $350 plus tax, bringing the total to $1,050. So we would have to provide our own copies of the film. And cheaper option.
What do you mean by that?
So it's not a streaming, so we would have to have a DVD or a Blu-ray of the film.
Okay.
The little bit cheaper option is the annual license. It's $880 plus tax. With, again, you provide your own copy. If you want to do the on-demand access where you can stream it, and there's over 20,000 films in there, it's $1,012 plus HST. In that grouping of licensing, the movies that are in there are Goonies, Beetlejuice, Elf, and Home Alone. Admission can be charged, but as soon as license fee is recouped, so as soon as we've reached that $1,012, if we were charging admission, once we've received more than $1,012 in admission fees, then 35% of our proceeds go back to the licensor. For March break, when they did Moana 2, they sold out all the tickets, but only about 100 people attended. People were welcome to bring their own snacks and drinks, and they did send a survey afterwards that had positive results, and the community would love to see free screenings taking place monthly. And some did express a desire for concession sales to be available. Others said that had friends that wanted to come but were unable to get tickets because it was sold out. And then quite a few people did not attend. So suggestion was do not offer ticket sales at all. Just a first come, first served basis on the day of the event, or charge a nominal fee so that people are less likely to take tickets and not attend. If you do decide to go with the annual licensing fee, the recreational program and special events coordinator, Jessica, has indicated that she would be more than happy to share the cost with the recreation programming budget so that additional screenings could be run throughout the year and arts and culture would still be recognized as hosting the events.
That's good.
Okay, that sounds all right.
That's a good plan.
Would they do that as well with the streaming option?
Yes.
I just think, like, do we want to have to go and find a copy of the movie and get it? Or are we better off with the streaming where that's what my feeling is?
Yeah, 100%. Especially too, because the
Sure.
cost is pretty much the same, right? I mean, when you, at least from what it sounded like to me, it was going to be almost $1,000 with us sort of supplying our own.
Like $132 difference.
Yeah, right. And then
Not-
almost
not a big
$1,000 if I stream it. And I'm thinking, and then that's the whole year. So yeah, no brainer. Got to go with streaming.
So if that's what the committee wants to do, I would need a resolution indicating that you want to go the streaming route. And I would need a resolution if you want to partner with and it could all be one resolution, but would need a resolution if you want to partner with the recreational programming.
I'll move that.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
And seconded by Deb, okay. And any other comments? If not, all in favor? Yeah, sounds like a good plan. Okay.
Thank you.
So that takes care of the movie situation. So when would the next movie or the first movie be after this meeting?
So the first movie that the committee had chosen for August, it appears from this email that the original movies that we had discussed might not be available in the streaming, but Jessica and I will go back through the list, and she might do one sooner than August.
Yeah.
But the advantage is, we will advertise together the ones that you've already got and the additional ones that she's.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure that we have a good choice for the August one, and then the October one would be Goonies, or what did I see, Beetlejuice? And
Yeah, I
then
think-
Elf for Home Alone. So you have choices for, Goonies or Beetlejuice are available for October, and then Elf and Home Alone are available for December. So we'll just need a summary one for August.
Yeah. So would that be on a weekend, on a Saturday or Sunday, or a specific
I
time?
think
or
we've
gonna
booked
be-
them all for
flexible?
Saturdays, haven't we?
Yeah, I would think
Yes.
that would make sense. So what would be the time? That it starts?
I'd have to look back at what I don't know
Yeah.
if we set a time.
I don't
I
think
can't
we
remember
did.
if we did either. That's why
I
was
think we
asking.
set the dates because we needed to make sure we reserved Grace Tippling Hall, but I don't think we set times.
Yeah. And I know you said that it was well received for bringing snacks and juices and stuff, like people themselves, but how well did that go with leftover garbage and things like that? Like, were people pretty respectful and they put their stuff in the
It
garbage?
seems to be, yes.
Okay.
So she didn't say anything in the email about complaints or a problem with that. So the good thing is, with your next one being August, if she does one before that, we'll have a better idea. So I can just make a note to check that with her.
Perfect.
And does the committee want to get into providing snacks, or do you want to just do the same thing where people are allowed to bring their own?
Our ticket sales, like when you said that when we recoup our costs, does that include concession?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe so. So the town did not charge for Moana 2, and the recreational ones, she is not planning on charging for. They would be free to the public. So it might look kind of funny if the recreational programming ones are free and then the committee is charging.
Right.
Yeah, that would probably put a bad
Mhm.
taste in the community's mouth. So they likely might not show up for ours. Would only
No,
show
no,
up.
I was just wondering because obviously we've got a report on any profit making, profit sharing, all that sort of stuff. So if the concession was going to be part of that, we have to make sure that we've got proper accounting.
Yeah. So no, it just says admission can be charged. It doesn't say anything about if you have concession sales.
Okay.
She would have
Friday
to double
night
check
at
that
the
when she
Ridge.
reviews the agreement. She would have to double check that in the agreement.
Mhm.
Friday
Okay.
night at the Ridge, I did the concession and we probably brought in about $30 to $40 total.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if it's really worth it. They had a ton of left, like they were offering 5 different kinds of homemade cookies and bottled water and sparkling water. And it really, at that time, everybody had already had dinner, so they really weren't getting a whole lot. So I don't know if a concession's actually,
Well, and I
Worth
think
it.
I
Right.
think too, for so long, everybody has been aware that Grace Tippling Hall is food and beverage free. Like that has been the standard procedure for years.
Yeah.
So, you know, if Jessica does another one before the summer and she does do selling of concessions, then we'll have another one we can compare. We can compare Moana 2 and we can compare the one where she sells it. But at the very least, if you let people bring their own,
Yeah,
know,
doesn't-
you're offering something to the community at no charge to the community. You're letting them, kudos to the committee.
Well,
Yeah, I
it,
think that
it,
works
it kind
better.
of makes sense to me. I mean, I was thinking if we've got the movie for free anyway, I'd rather have them bring their own snacks personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also kind of leans more towards if they bring their own snacks, it's pack in, pack out. People are used to that. So anything they
Mhm.
bring in, they're gonna throw in the garbage more likely than spillage and all that sort of stuff.
And
Yep.
maybe if we had like 2 big garbage cans right on either side of the door going into the hall, then it makes it easy for people just to drop off their crap on the way out.
And the event was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And that seemed to be a really good time for the families. It was after lunch, it was before supper.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's good. Yeah. Okay,
That works.
sounds good.
I think the only thing we have to hone out is like you said, I think probably just a first come, first serve. I know it kind of sucks that, some people may be turned away, but we can't be giving, selling these Eventbrite tickets and then having not, nobody show up. Like we had that with the Black History Month, right? Where we thought we were going to have like so many people, which was going to be awesome. And then there was like maybe 30 of us total. So, there are people who wanted a spot and couldn't get a spot. And then there were people who just show up because they're like, whatever, it's free, no big deal. Right. So I think, if everyone's okay with it, I would likely just advertise first come, first serve. Like it should probably be on the advertisement as well as pack your own snacks, right? That's
Yeah.
that sort of thing. No concession offered, pack your own snacks, first come, first serve, make sure you're early to get a good seat. That sort of thing, because I'd rather fill it up and then say, so sorry, you'll have to try at the next one rather than look like we're going to fill it up and only have 100 people show up.
Mhm. Okay, that's good.
So what I'm hearing then from the committee, just correct me if I'm wrong, is you want to allow people to bring their own snacks. You want to do first come, first served, and you're okay with a 2 o'clock start time on the Saturday, or did you want to make it later because it is a Saturday?
If it was
This
good for
one
the
was-
family, I'd say keep status quo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if it seemed to work
If
well.
we keep
already.
it consistent, then people will get used to that.
Yeah, they work their schedule
Exactly.
around the time, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. And then as
Okay.
far as a summer movie, like for advertising purposes, do you want us to bring back a summer movie to you for the next meeting to choose, or do you want us to just pick one so we can start advertising?
I think it's easier. I mean, why delay things? Just, I mean,
Yeah.
it's easier if you guys are okay just picking it. I trust you guys. Just go for it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Next item is the, excuse me, I'm losing my voice today. Walking tour brochure. Do we
Oh,
have any?
sorry. Do we need a motion, Alice, on which direction we wanted to go as far as the streaming versus the?
You gave me a motion on streaming and,
Yep.
and partnering with recreation.
Sorry,
Yeah.
never mind. Just want to make sure we're crossing our T's, dotting our I's.
You moved it.
That's
Jeb
right.
seconded it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you
I
tell us
don't-
what
We're
the
all on
long
the same
day-
page.
I don't think we need
It's a
one.
long day.
And I don't think we need one for just the direction of time and that sort of
No.
thing. So
Yeah, right.
perfect.
Okay, so walking tour brochure. Do we have quotes already or what's the?
Yes. So I was
Yeah.
asked to get pricing, and so we just reached back out because of the pricing. I didn't have to get multiple quotes. I was just able to reach back out to the company that provided it previously. They're giving the same pricing to us as the last time they
Hmm.
printed it.
Cool.
Yeah, so for 250 brochures, it would be $460. For 500 brochures, it would be $598. For 1,000 brochures, it would be $880. Of course, taxes are on top of that. And last time, 500 brochures were printed.
What
Great.
size is this, Alice?
Last time, 500 brochures were printed, and so 500 is $598.
No, sorry. What size were they?
Oh, what size are the brochures?
I think
Were
they're
they
just your
8.5,
standard
ones we
11
had that
were
folded up.
were they
Yeah.
8.5, 11 that were roll fold, or were they tabloid?
No, they're like
It was tabloid, so it was fold in half and then roll
it's
fold.
folded and then folded and it's on a thicker paper.
Okay,
Okay.
that's actually a really good price.
Especially since it's not changed. It's good.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow. Because I think it's been
A long time.
before. Yeah, I was gonna say before
It's-
COVID. I'm pretty sure since we printed those.
It was. It was.
Yeah. So that's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm good with say 500. I think that would last us another say 5 years probably.
Yeah, by that
So,
time we may be changing it, I would hope.
yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I'm okay with doing another 500 again.
Okay, so does somebody want to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make that
Sure.
motion.
Okay. And seconded by
Sure.
Lindsay, okay. All in favor? And that's carried. And just an update on the municipal laneway naming.
So council approved the laneway names as suggested by the committee. So the next step would be getting the signage and the plaques. So the question is, does somebody or multiple people on the committee want to take on coming up with the little verbiage and deciding on a picture for the plaque to bring back to the committee, or did you want to direct staff to come up with that wording, verbiage, and picture?
I think maybe staff could probably do that. Shouldn't be
Um,
too, or somebody has.
Yeah,
another idea.
I mean, I honestly don't mind either way. I don't want to put too much work on staff as they already have their hands full. But like, yeah, what do you think, Alice? Is there someone who kind of has time to maybe do that, or right?
So
I mean,
it would be me. It would be me that's doing it. I
So
did
we'll ask you,
not
do you have
do.
time?
I did not do the previous ones, so I'm kind of. I don't know who did the previous ones.
yeah,
If the committee did the previous ones or if staff did the previous ones. I don't mind doing a draft. I know like it would be ideal to get these ordered sooner than later. So, you know, if I can get something together and just, you know, you've already approved the people, you know, the information that's
Mhm.
going to be on there.
Yeah, and you've got the
I'll get
previous,
Jennifer to work with me on it.
Yeah.
If you're all right with that, and then we can
Yeah.
get them ordered and get them installed
because
as
the
soon as
plaques have
possible.
a similar wording anyways, so if you just.
They have
use the
similar wording,
same
and there's
then you just
normally
insert the
a
new
photo,
names. Easy.
right? And there's a photograph. So,
Yeah.
you know, for the one, I mean, it could be like for Sawyer's feed mill, obviously that's going to be a photograph of the feed mill. For Rose Lane, that's going to be a photograph of Mr. Rose, right? Like, I mean, that's just obvious, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting to hear back from the Townsends if they want to do a picture of the Townsends or if they want to do a picture of the business. But because it's Townsend, I'm leaning more towards the couple. But I'm
Yeah,
just
Where are
waiting to
these
hear back from
plaques
the
going?
family.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
do these
I
plaques
would
go?
prefer to
In the
have,
lanes, in the downtown area.
So on the
Exact
lanes,
lane?
yeah.
Mhm.
So there's so you'd have like the street type sign, the overhead sign, but it's a specific one for a back lane. And then at the entrance to the back lane, there's a smaller round circular sign.
Yeah. I don't know if you can,
It was in the
Actually,
agenda.
yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna say it's on the
Yes, I was
agenda.
gonna say, I'm pretty sure I put a picture in the agenda.
Oh,
I
okay.
Give
don't
me
know, I
one.
can't figure where the camera is. Oh, there we go. Sort of. So
Here,
there,
I
and
can.
the circle thing is there.
Oh, I see it. Okay, yeah.
And then that would be the street sign.
Okay.
So that kind of goes at the base, at the entrance. So we'll have to consult with staff and get locates as to where the best location is going to be for each sign. Townsend, we're going to do as close as possible to where the Townsend business was. Knowing that that's a big long lane with multiple entrances, you know, obviously we're going to put it closer to the downtown.
Right.
Curious, does locate have to go in before the sign posts go up?
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying town staff will determine where it goes.
Yep. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
because we have to do all that. We have to order that. We have to get a location and determine based on the locates where the best spot can be. So that's why that is not a committee choice.
And that's understandable. Sounds good to me.
Okay, so committee is comfortable with me writing that verbiage.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the curling club mural. We've got photos here that we agreed on the October 2nd meeting. And so, does everybody have a copy of those photos?
Yep. I see the parade and the Chevrolet garage.
Yeah.
Perfect. So those are the two that we're looking at doing next at the curling club then?
Sounds good.
Is that painting version one that has the multiple panels? That's the one that was there before?
Yeah, like that's the actual painting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's bigger too, actually, right? It goes over the those little beam thingies or whatever the hell they are, jet outs. So I would recommend that we leave them in sort of the sepia tone. Because I think the one that we've got now in the middle being colorful, maybe we start doing sepia on the other side of that. And then we have room, I think, for another two on either side of this one or these two. So then we can decide if we want to maybe go back to color on the last two, or if we want to just keep going with like a sepia or a black and white. And we just leave the one in the middle as color to kind of draw your eye in. It's up to you guys. What do you think?
Well, some of them aren't going to be ideal for color if they're not color to start with, so then it's not really realistic.
Right.
No, and I'd like to keep consistency, obviously. So doing two sepia on either side at this point makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. I'm good with that too. I would,
Easier to turn a color photo into sepia than a sepia photo into color. If you're
Yes.
trying to change that next
It's a lot easier. Yeah.
generation. Yeah,
yeah, that's true. I mean, I think we did, at JD Park, that initially was like a black and white photo, right, guys? And we
Yes.
had
Right.
It
lived
was,
around.
and then it was colorized. Yes, it can be
Yeah.
done. Personally, I prefer the look of sepia. It gives
Yep.
more detail
It
when you
looks
start
more
colorizing.
historic. Yeah.
Yep.
It's more historic, and when you start colorizing old photos,
It looks fake.
it does look fake. Exactly. So to me, I'd rather see the sepia. It just adds realism to it. It adds a historical feel, I find.
Mhm.
Yeah. Nope, I completely agree. I love sepia, and like I said, I'm a big fan of black and white as well, or even black and gray. That sort of
I
thing, which is
prefer,
just a little
yeah,
bit different.
personally, I'd prefer the sepia just to give it that little extra
Yep.
color.
Yep.
But at the same time, I mean, because of the color of the brick that's already there, I think the sepia isn't going to disappear. I think the black and gray would kind of look off,
Right.
personally. Sepia, I think, would look really, really nice,
Would
especially
be
with
okay. Okay. Yeah, because that was one of my concerns too, was will it sort of blend in with the brick, right? So I was a little
the brick is
concerned.
more orange, so I think the sepia should be fine.
It should still stand out.
I
Okay.
think so. Yeah. Especially
Perfect.
because we're putting some kind of a frame on this, or like a digital frame around this, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
it'll
that's
still draw the attention. I think it'll keep the detail. And again, when you go to black and gray from a sepia, you can tend to lose detail. So I'd rather keep as much detail as we can possibly do.
perfect. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, I forgot about the frame, so that'll help to break it up against the brick.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep, I am a go on those two. Get them installed if we have money in the budget still ASAP.
Yeah. Do we
So you
have
want
enough
me to
to get
order
the last
both?
two done?
Is that what you're indicating? You want me to order both at the same time?
Yep.
If we
I
have
would.
the budget, then I would. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see us keep this balanced. If we only do one of them, it's going
Yeah,
to
it
be
looks like we didn't finish something. Yeah.
Yeah. I completely agree. And then when we are looking at creating our budget for next year, because obviously budget talks will be coming up in August, we can start again deciding, okay, how many more murals do we maybe want to do next year? Do we want to do another 2 to kind of finish off that wall? And then is there maybe another location that we were thinking, or we're just going to finish that one? And then that'll help us identify what we will need to request from council at budget time.
Right. Okay, sounds good.
Perfect.
Okay, the next item is a student art event update.
Sorry, do we need a motion, Alice,
sure.
to approve those two?
Yes, please.
Sorry about that. So
To
who wants
order,
make the
to get
motion?
them ordered, yeah.
Order the two, yeah. I'll move that.
You make the motion?
Yeah, I can second that.
Lindsay seconded, all in favor? That's carried.
Yay! Oh my God, guys, we're like
It's a nice
actually
thing,
using
it done
our money
finally.
doing stuff.
spending money.
I'm like, we're actually using our money
You
and
just
doing
spent
stuff.
all this taxpayers' money.
This is so exciting.
Somebody's gonna go online and watch this council meeting
Yeah.
or this meeting
Yeah.
and say, oh, look at, they
What?
just want to spend our.
Look, they're
I
spending
know.
money on us. Look, come on.
I know. But what the community doesn't understand is how many years we've let the budget just lapse and not used it at all, right? Because we
Yeah,
haven't
so this
done
is
anything. So
accumulation.
it's nice to finally be getting some stuff done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, the student art event. I have heard nothing from the schools. Alice, have you guys gotten any emails from the schools? Okay, I'm leaving this weekend for Portugal. And I get back on the 23rd, and I'm gonna send out a reminder to all the principals and art teachers and just say, look, it's 2 weeks away. And when can I come pick up, the art pieces? And see what happens then. So everybody seemed on board when I went to visit them in their schools, but it was
Yeah,
we
also
get
3
sidetracked.
months in
That's
advance.
basically
So
that.
now that we're gonna be 2 weeks away,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
So
likely to slip their mind.
That doesn't leave a lot of time for advertising and making the public aware of this event.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, while you're away, Deb, is there someone else that you can have reach out to schools? Because if we are going to have art, we really need to start advertising now. If we're not going to have art, then it would be better to just call it now.
Do we
Yeah.
know which teacher or teachers to call?
I went in and saw the principals at the
Okay.
schools. Now, I didn't talk to the principal at Centennial Highlands. I left it at the front office.
Mhm.
And I left at the high school, I left it at the front office to be given to the art teachers. And I talked to the principals at Grand Valley, Primrose, Highland Heights. Is that it? I think that's it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I can send out an email before I leave and have them contact
The town maybe, yeah.
the
To be
town.
honest, is this something that we can put off until next year? Just because time-wise, things are very, very tight and we don't know if we've got art.
Yeah,
I-
that's what
as
I'm
much-
worried about, because if
Yeah.
we haven't heard from anybody.
as much as I hate putting things off, and sorry, Lindsay, is another one that's I know I
understand.
feel it, and I'm with you 100%, but at the same time, yeah, advertising being in advertising, I know that unless we can get the word out, and we don't know if we have anything, so we can't. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
personally-
one of the things I'm worried about is when I went to Primrose, I'm trying to think what her name is, the principal. I should know. Anyway, she was saying that, she was under the impression that it would have to be run through the Board of Ed office.
Mm.
And I said, oh, when I went to Highland Heights, Tammy was right on board and she didn't lead me to believe that at all. And so I'm just going with what Tammy said. And she said, okay, well, if Tammy's on board, but you know,
again, as much as
it just feels a little bit what's gonna happen here.
well,
Right.
that's the problem. I think we don't have enough confirmation at this point, and as much as I don't want to disappoint anybody, it's
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, and the thing is, if we haven't heard from anybody, we're not gonna disappoint anybody, because apparently nobody seems to be wanting to do it at this point.
It's true. It is true.
Okay, well, let's put it off until,
Yeah, let's defer it.
But
I mean,
if we could, Alice, can we delay this until next year and maybe bring it back up then?
Yeah, of course.
now what about the fact we've reserved the Ag Center? Is that okay, or?
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. I'll send Stu a message when we get off the meeting and just tell her to release the hall that unfortunately it didn't seem to pan through, and I'm sure it'll get rented in no time because it's been extremely busy.
okay,
Okay.
okay. The next item, data festival. That's the partnership with Dufferin Museum Center. I guess Bella isn't here to talk about it, so maybe we should
So
just defer it for next.
she just sent me a quick email.
Oh, okay.
So let me just pull it up. Bear with me one moment. I've been watching my emails. So she said their event is actually the 7th. So that actually works well
was the
if
same
you're
day
not
as
doing
the art
the
show, yeah.
student. Yeah. So she said she would provide details to the committee.
Okay.
So what month was that again?
June.
June.
Oh, June. Okay, well, that's not a little ways away. Yeah.
So they're taking care of their own advertising and everything?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
They were just
Yes.
looking for funding from us, weren't they?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Do we just defer this into the next meeting just so that we get more information?
Yeah. So just remember that June 7th is the event.
Okay.
June 4th is going to be your next meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of tight.
So
Is
just
it-
keep June 7th available on your calendars.
Yeah, right.
All they want is for us to attend, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The last item is Arts and Brews planning for 2026. Are we
If-
going to be doing any discussion about that, or are we going to continue to?
I think we decided because things are tight, we're going to defer that until,
Yeah.
especially because we're going to have new term of council, new committees, and everything else. This one, I think we push off until new committee. Isn't
Yeah.
that what we were talking about, Alice?
Last time you said push it off till 2026, and you asked to leave it on the agenda as a standing item so
Okay,
that
yeah.
planning could still happen. But if you want to postpone it even further and take it off, that is totally understandable too.
I mean, I would love to see it happen, and unfortunately, I'm going through a lot of personal stuff lately that I haven't had time to chase much of this. Um, you know what? Why don't we just push it off?
We can always bring it back if we are in a position where we're able to start talking about it again.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, any new business?
So I do need to actually get budget information from the committee by August 28th, which really means we have the June meeting, and we don't normally meet in August. So the June meeting and the July meeting to get budget items figured out,
Okay,
and how much you're going to request. So if you have anything that you want to bring forward for the budget for 2026, if you could please email me, and so we can add it to the next meeting, because the next meeting will have to include budget discussion. And if we don't get quorum for June and or July, we will have to call a special meeting of the committee to get a budget for 2026.
Yep.
Okay.
Can I make a
One
suggestion?
thing for sure that we should make sure that it is on the budget is 2 more of those murals for
Yep.
the curling club. I think we're all in agreement
Mhm.
that we'd like to see 2 more next year.
Yep.
Alice, can you refresh my memory on what the 2 would cost for?
No.
Okay,
I
fair
know.
enough.
I have to look that up. If you want to wait a minute, I do not have that at my fingertips.
I
That's
was
fine.
trying to think of it myself, and I was like, I don't want to just throw out.
I think we were just over 2,000 roughly per mural. So if we ask for 5 or we plan for 5, I think we're covered or we'll be close.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we're close around that for sure. Yeah.
And
so-
yeah. So do you want a motion now, Alice, or is this something that we need to have this?
No, I don't. I do not want a motion now, please. We have to make sure we have everything figured out, like full amount that we're asking for and full details. So I have one resolution. If we did it now, it's going to be all piecemealed. So I've got the murals on there. I've got the student art show on there, because of course we'll need a budget for advertising for the student art show, as well as the cost for the
Okay, if you can make a
Right.
note then as well to continue on with the movies as well, I think that'd be
Yes.
maybe.
I was actually
I
just going to
asked,
say that. Yeah.
that maybe we have a copy of last year's budget, just so we have some frame of reference to look at, and maybe can adjust numbers according to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Instead of
that
trying
could
to
be a
think
good
of
idea.
just imagine.
But yeah, I agree,
Listeners.
Kyle. I was just going to say that as well, to throw the movies on there as well, because I think they're going to be a success. And if we work with Jessica, then that helps both of us. And yeah, we can continue kind of on that path as well, which would be great.
And I'd rather push things forward than think about them later. Just as much things organized ahead of time is probably
And
best.
if there's anything else that you think of, heritage wise, culture wise, please email me so I can add it to the agenda so other people can start thinking about it as well.
I have a question. We got the button making machine.
Mm.
And we were gonna be giving out buttons at the concerts in the park.
Concerts
we
in the
need
Park
to
or
have-
Canada Day. That was going to be my next question is, one,
Okay.
did you still want to do that? And two, what dates? Because I need to book that and I need to make sure I have committee members available to do that.
Yeah.
Make
If
buttons.
you,
Yep.
yeah,
I do have I think I have it written down in my book, so I'll send you the day that I know for sure that I could do Fridays at the park. Because I kind of scheduled the afternoon kind of off for that. So I'll send you an email letting you know which day for sure I can do. I think
So, and I think the committee was just talking about doing one Friday in the park. Is that correct? Or are you talking about doing them all? Because I'm concerned if you advertise that you're going to be at the mall and you run out of buttons.
Yeah.
We don't know how
Yeah.
long it's going to take to get more, considering it took a few months to get the button making machine.
right.
Yeah, if
We
do that the
said we
first
were
one,
gonna do
then,
July
I
25th
think that would work.
Right. Okay. So July 25th. Okay.
is the date that we had put out there before.
And where is it? Yes or no to Canada Day?
How
Is
many
it just Fridays in the park?
Well, I mean, if we can do both, I don't see why we shouldn't. We could do
As
like
long as we have the
Yeah.
people to run it.
as long as we got people to run it, and as long as I mean the Canada Day committee, we could talk about. We've got a meeting tomorrow, don't we, Alice? Oh. Okay. Never mind.
I feel for you, buddy.
Never mind.
Oh man. Okay, so the 25th of July, I'm on vacation. Don't know where I'm going to be though. So I may be here, I may not.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I will send out a survey to the committee with all the dates and say,
Okay.
please let me know. And are we wanting to do 2 dates, 3 dates? What are you wanting?
Okay. I guess we can.
We'll see what we get in response.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
That's
I'll
fine.
email all the committees, I'll email everybody in the committee the dates and the times that are available and say, please let me know what you are available to volunteer at.
Yeah.
And then I will book, like either a table either at Canada Day or Fridays in the park, whichever one, because we're going to need at least 2 people.
Yeah, because I definitely
people.
could do June 13th. Because I literally took the whole afternoon off. So I'm only working the morning. So I know for sure I can be there for June 13th if we wanted to do, I think that's like the first one that's offered, I
Is
believe,
it the
right?
first one? Yeah, I
Yeah.
can probably
Yeah, I
do
think
that
so.
too.
Yeah. So I know I can do that one for sure.
Okay. Okay, so I'll email that and wait for the responses from everybody.
Okay.
Then we'll just get that booked. Bella indicated that she is going to send more details to everybody before June 4th,
Okay.
so that you have the information for that event as well. And again, just, any budget items for 2026 so that we
Yeah.
can talk about it at the next meeting and by the July meeting have a passed budget.
So I would say if you've kind of got a quick list going from what we said for budget, I would also throw on buttons, right? Like supplies for that. And
Okay.
depending, obviously, once we get a couple of events under our belt, maybe we might need new keychains printed. Like if we get through, how many did we do? Do you remember? I know, I
Was-
totally.
We did. Was it 1 sheet or 2? And I think it was
I
like
know.
400 or 500 per sheet.
Maybe that I can't remember.
That many?
But yeah, just
I
like I
think
said.
it was 500-ish, possibly.
Okay, so it might be a little. That might be a lot to go through this summer, but you never know. So I thought maybe that might just be an idea to throw on there for the budget as well, just in case we do go through them, with the Friday nights at the park or Canada Day or whatnot, maybe even the fall fair, if we do something at the fall fair, then at least we have money in the budget to get some new ones, like some more printed, because they did turn out really cool. And I think the community is going to love them when we're finally ready to get them handed out to them.
Okay.
Other than that, that's kind of all I can think of right now for budget. So if I think of anything else, I'll send you an email.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so if there's nothing else, can I get a motion for adjournment? Deb and Kyle,
Lynn's definitely not putting her hand up.
didn't take long.
I'm not going to adjourn this one
Oh.
too. Come on.
All in favor?
Yeah.
That's carried.